Hey guys, today we're playing Terraria and we are trying to do a challenge themed off of one of my favorite VTubers, Shiori. Initially I had several other challenges I wanted to do that would restrict both weapons and accessories to have them themed after a VTuber or an anime character, but seeing as this is my first challenge playthrough, I chose to keep it more simple. In this challenge, we cannot kill a boss till we found our first book-based magic item, and once we get our first tome, we can only use tomes. In addition, we also have to collect all 9 book-based magic items. I decided to throw this in as an extra quest as Shiori is an archiver and I thought it made sense. Now the start to this challenge will be particularly challenging as pre-hard mode only has 3 book-based weapons. The first one is the Book of Skulls, which drops from the boss Skeletron, so that's already off the table. The second one is the Water Bolt, which is supposed to be a post-Skeletron weapon you find in the dungeon. However, you could find it above ground before the Dungeon Guardian spawns. This worked for a while, but sadly it's been patched, so that's also off the table. This leaves one item left, the Demon Scythe. As the name suggests, it drops from demons, which are in Hell, the most dangerous area in pre-hard mode due to the hard-hitting enemies and crap ton of lava. So first, we need to gear up. And it turns out I got really lucky with my chest drops, as I got 2 of the best accessories you can get at the start of the game. Hermes boots, baby! Oh, and a band of regen! Oh, God! In addition, I also got climbing claws, which aren't particularly insane, but I did get guarding on them, meaning I got +3 to my defense. I also was able to pick up a godly mace, as well as some chain knives, making for 2 pretty good weapons that have a lot of utility to them. What the fuck? What the fuck? Is this thing like a permanent companion? No, it disappeared. And within 40 minutes of starting my new playthrough, I already touched down on Hell, only to die almost immediately. But there are some upgrades we needed to craft anyways, platinum armor and a hook to be specific. After getting those, we end up going back to Hell through a different cave in which we found a blizzard in a bottle for even more mobility. And with that, we were finally ready to farm in Hell. But even after these upgrades, we were still vastly underpowered, but luckily, I have 1300 hours in this game, so I was able to come up with a strategy. We found a tower with only 2 points of entry, one of which was a door that only we can open. So here's how we deal with each of the monsters. The easiest is the slimes, that spawn at the bottom and aren't really a threat, but we still need to kill them to keep the spawn slots open. That's easy. Since we have our chain knives, we can actually put a 1-block hole on each side and just poke them right through it. Because of the lower levels and the great natural hole on the right side, we don't really have to worry about the lava levels rising from the slime deaths, as we'd have to kill hundreds of slimes for it to even matter. Next we have the imps, who can teleport and throw projectiles through walls. Despite that, these guys will be easy to deal with on their own, since they can't do anything when they're taking knockback, and if we keep swinging our mace instead of throwing it, we can actually stun lock these guys, making them only really difficult when we have to deal with other mobs. Stepping up in difficulty, we have the bone snake, which is probably the biggest threat here as they are worms, can go through walls, and are pretty fast. So the solution is to get to the biggest room that gives us the most space to dodge and immediately start hitting them with my mace. Luckily, worms do have a pretty simple attack pattern, and although I got hit a few times, I was able to deal with these guys. Now to get into the 2 more consistent threats, the bats and the demons. Both these enemies are flying and percentage challenge as they can both get through the area on the top. Although I could just block that area off, it is the best way to hit them as we can use it as a choke point. Also, for the ones that come from the left, we can open the door and hit them before they get too close to swing back. Using these defensive strategies, we're able to farm consistently, only dying once in the 3 hours of farming, and we eventually got the book. Dude, I did not expect it to get that early, dude. Out of all the modifiers we could have got, we got the one that increased mana cost. Of fucking course. Now that we got the weapon for this challenge, it's time to make a base. I tend to go for bigger themed builds, and seeing as we are playing Shiori, I wanted to try some gothic style stuff. The plan was to make a church with a big center room and 2 smaller side rooms. I'll also be making a creepy basement. The skeleton of the structure was looking great, and the only issue is that I don't have that much decorations, so I went to explore the caves. And ended up in Hell again, but I decided to go through the houses to take every candle, chandelier, painting, and bookshelf, as well as whatever else I needed. We also had to get Shiori a bathtub. And after treating hell like my own personal IKEA, I still need one more thing. A second platinum chandelier. As I was going to the caves to find some platinum, I got a message. God damn it. This was an issue because I have no arena. My weapon is extremely difficult to aim against this boss, but we didn't have any time to repair. I've been playing this game since I was 10, so if this boss wants to try to take me on, it's gonna learn I'm not an easy target.
I'm a king with no kingdom, a throne made of scars, ruling my ruins beneath shattered stars. I've been torn, I've been broken, but still I stand tall. A king with no kingdom, but I'm not gonna fall. You can still live in crown, you can bury my name.
Boom, baby, first try, dude. No arena. Now that I beat the boss, I decided to call it a night, and I did have an outro that I recorded that was pretty damn scuffed, so I'll just end this video with that. Well, that pretty much concludes the overall concludes our base building. We do have some decorations we probably need to place down, but I'll do that off video. Well, that pretty much concludes our base building for today. We do have a few decorations we could place, but I'll do that all off cam. And then next episode, we will be building our basement and maybe fighting another boss. Until then, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Guide